Hey, you know what? You know what I realized might make a lot of you guys more happy? Apple's heard everyone's complaints. They've heard everyone's frustrated with some of the iPads coming out of the factory bent, so they're working on thicker ones. Just like everybody asked, right? But yeah, it looks like some of the first hardware we'll be getting in 2019 from Apple is not going to be two new designs for the iPad entry-level market, and finally the revival of the iPad mini. So here's what to expect. So in case you didn't know, the iPad mini has not really been updated since 2015, which means that yes, if this ends up being a refresh that we're hearing about next year, there will have been 4 years on the iPad mini 4 that it has just kind of sat there so sad in the corner with the A8 chip and its 7.9-inch display. But hey, that display is laminated, which we can't say about all iPads in 2018. They're supposedly trying to upgrade the iPad lineup a little bit in the more budget department to try to bring up sales so that they can continue having the iPad market grow, but the overall slump of tablet sales is continuously going down, and they're hoping to turn that around in 2019 with a iPad mini refresh as well as a new budget iPad similar to what we got this year in 2018 with basically the A10 Fusion chip and Apple Pencil support. Still no laminated display, still basic old design, nothing fancy, but it's a great iPad for a lot of people. I bet there's a lot of you guys watching this video on it. Now, for some reason, the report is saying that this is going to be a 10-inch iPad instead of a 9.7, which honestly very, very confuses me because I already think that the iPad lineup has way too many screen sizes. We have 12.9-inch iPad Pro, we have 11-inch iPad Pro, we have older 10.5-inch iPad Pro, 9.7-inch budget iPad, and 7.9-inch iPad mini. Now you're telling me they're going to make it even worse, and in 2019 they're going to release a 10-inch display, which is supposed to have a narrower design, so the bezels are going to be a little bit thinner than the $330 iPad that went on sale like crazy this year. I think every other day during the holiday season, at least, the budget iPad was available for $250 on Amazon or at Walmart. These things went through a lot of flash sales, but regardless, I'm very confused as to why they're like, well, everyone wants us to laminate the display, but what if we just made a 10-inch version? Not 10.5, okay, so the bezels aren't going to be as thin as they are on the 10.5-inch iPad Pro, which Apple still sells. And if they really want to update the iPad, I think they should just cave and start giving people the laminated display options, maybe the True Tone display in 2019 for this more budget price point, keeping it $330. I think that's a sweet spot for that size of an iPad. But no, instead we go with 10-inch display, and are they going to update the CPU at all? It already has the A10 chip, but bumping it up to an A10X Fusion chip will very much make kind of the 10.5-inch iPad Pro that Apple's still selling feel kind of redundant. It's like, okay, so here's $330 iPad with a really good CPU, and then over here we have $650 iPad with a 0.5-inch larger display and ProMotion, I guess, slightly thinner bezels. Overall, the iPad lineup is going to be very, very distorted unless they stop selling certain models. Hopefully, they don't keep around the 10.5-inch iPad Pro because that one's going to feel weird now. But then comes the iPad mini 5, or as Apple will likely call it, the new and improved iPad mini. They'll just call it the new one. They'll probably ditch the number scheme. And this is very interesting to me because right now, the iPad mini 4 is only available at $399 for 128 gigabytes, which isn't exactly a deal if you consider how old the iPad mini is, but I like the idea of them making essentially a smaller version of the $330 iPad we have right now. So if this does help save on prices, there are a few compromises I think they could make with the new generation iPad mini. So maybe they don't have a laminated display, so that kind of sucks, but at least the CPU could get upgraded, right? We could up it to an A10 or an A10X, and if it's an A10X, you'll probably not be able to get the new iPad mini at under $300, but I think if they settled with an A10 chip and said, you know what, I think that's enough for most people, we'll give it Apple Pencil support, then I think the iPad mini from retail, brand new from Apple, you could get probably just under $300. They could get it more in the $260 price point, which is incredibly affordable, especially for all of the advantages of iOS you'd be getting with this and the longevity, the support you have with an iPad, even a smaller version of it. It's supposed to be a concentration. And also, the iPad mini can have a higher pixel density because it's the same resolution as the larger iPad, just condensed down further, meaning the people out there that care about pixel density, the iPad mini may be your better option. The iPad mini is going to be excellent for portability. It's a very, very small, easy to throw in a bag and forget it's there. But I imagine since these are budget iPads, they're not going to be sporting the revolutionary new designs we got with the iPad Pros because that's still very fresh and new and probably still very pricey for Apple to manufacture. So making $300 or sub $300 iPads with USB-C and the new Apple Pencil charge charge method that inductively attaches to the side. I doubt you're gonna see that in the new entry-level iPads as much as we may want them to support the new Apple Pencils, or we want them to support USB-C. I don't know, I just get the feeling that for the sake of budget and for the sake of making them more affordable, they're just gonna keep Lightning around, and they're gonna keep the old charging method around for the Apple Pencils, which won't be great, but if you consider how cheap you're able to afford these things, I don't think that many people are gonna complain. There will still definitely be complaining, just it's hard to get mad at somewhat flawed designs that are that cheap anyway. It's hard to say if we'll actually get a keynote over this because we barely got a keynote this year. Like Apple, they hosted an event, but they didn't even live stream it. It was like a press invite only, and everyone had to watch it after it was live. So clearly Apple just wanted it to be about education, and they didn't really want much attention drawn to it. And in 2017, last year, we didn't even get a keynote. It was just a website refresh, which personally, I think that if this is all really they're going to announce, they don't plan on upgrading the iPhone SE, and there doesn't seem to be many rumors of that. They don't plan on upgrading any MacBooks or iMacs. You know, they're kind of probably going to wait till Worldwide Developers Conference to actually host an event that's live streamed and upgrade all of the mainstream products. But this could very, very possibly be a website refresh or a very small, not very public event. Even though it's two different sizes, I don't think that would be a very exciting keynote. To get everyone excited and pumped for a keynote, and then everyone gets in a room and they're like, there's 2 cheap iPads now, yay. It wouldn't be terribly interesting, which is why I'm perfectly fine with the Apple Store going down for a little bit. Everyone gets to go, oh my god, could AirPower come out this time? And then it doesn't, because AirPower's dead and y'all need to get over it. And then there's just new budget iPads. And given they're so affordable, I don't see why I can't try one myself. I'll probably get a new Mini if it's interesting enough to me and review it. I don't know if I'll have a reason to keep it around, but I'll try it out and let you guys know what I think of it. So let me know what you think of the basic idea of the entry-level iPads coming in 2 new sizes in 2019 down in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.